You are now tuned in to Papi Chulo Radio, your web portal for the best in pop culture news and interviews.
You wouldn't be able to do these awful things to me if I weren't still in this chair.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
This is a Papi Chulo Radio special announcement. PapiChuloRadio.com is currently looking to expand its web presence, and we're looking for your help. If you're a fan of Papi Chulo Radio and its signature series, please visit GoFundMe.com/PapiChuloRadio and help us with our campaign. Every dollar amount donated will be improving the Papi Chulo Radio experience and making it more interactive and user-friendly. We thank you in advance for your support. This has been a Papi Chulo Radio special announcement. We now return you to our regularly scheduled programming. The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome to Summer Camp, a PapiChuloRadio.com and iTunes exclusive Papi Chulo Radio, pop culture on demand. I'm your host and camp director, Maurice Gatewood. Tonight on Summer Camp, we are going to explore some of Hollywood's campiest flicks, cult classic motion pictures, and fan favorite films. Please welcome my co-host, assistant director, the hip-hop legend, Dead Lee.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
All gonna laugh at you. Our director of residential life and future Legionnaire.
I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the crumbs.
And always keeping us active, our activity leader, the artist known as Vanetta Berry.
Hey y'all, I like Muff.
That's good to know.
All right.
Thanks for
Short and
sharing.
sweet.
Right. I was just like, okay.
Yes.
Pithy, as they say. You know? And always serving it up hot and spicy. Our head chef, Derek Anthony.
Today in the mess hall, we will be serving warm quiche Lorraine and assorted raw vegetables.
Yes.
In their own Ziploc pack, no less.
Okay, before we spiral into our descent, here's one of our camp directors on our PA system with a few announcements on how you can interact with us via social media.
Thank you for the intro, and sorry for the microphone feedback. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Summercamp. Follow us on Tumblr, summercamp-pcr.tumblr.com. Follow Papi Chulo Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube at Papi Chulo Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@PapiChuloRadio.com. Help support Papi Chulo Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PapiChuloRadio. Help support Papi Chulo Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PapiChuloRadio. Are you interested in joining the Papi Chulo Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@PapiChuloRadio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Papi Chulo Radio programs by visiting PapiChuloRadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Poppy Chula Radio Summer Camp and subscribe. Now, grab some popcorn and some snacks. It's time for your feature presentation. Back to you, camp counselors. Oh, not again. Sorry for the feedback.
Thank you. Okay, it's time to fire up the film projector so that we can discuss 2006, Another Gay Movie. Here's the official synopsis of the film. The film revolves around 4 gay teenagers, Curious Andy, Flamboyant Nico, Jock Jared, and Geeky Griff. These 4 boys want to have sex but can't find anyone to do it with. It's their graduation day and their lesbian friend Muffler is having a graduation party. The next morning, the boys make the pact to have sex before the end of the summer. Andy has his eye on the math teacher, Mr. Puckoff. Nico searches the internet for a man. Jared falls for a rival baseball player. And Griff is deciding between his crush on his exercise teacher and his crush on Jared. In the tradition of American Pie, Another Gay Movie will bring you hysterics. Always read through those before you get on the air and read them live because grammar is optional. Okay, so as I always ask in the beginning, who has seen this before? And I'm asking Legionnaire first. Have you seen this movie before?
No, I have not seen this movie before.
What?
Okay, so then we know that Derek has seen it, but not. Have you seen this movie before?
I had not seen this movie before. I had attempted to. I was going to watch it on Netflix a few times, and it was always not the right time because my kids were around. So I was like, okay, I will watch it one day. So I was very excited to watch it.
And Deadly.
No, but I knew about that movie before it even came out because the writer-director came into my acting class, showcase night, trying to cast for the movie. Even gave me a card. My teacher was trying to talk me up, saying, you need to cast him. He's a gay rapper. And then, you know what? I never called the dude back. I dropped the ball on that one. The dude was telling everyone in the class, I'm making a movie, Another Gay Movie. It's called Another Gay Movie. And I was like, this sounds gay. I don't know about this.
Hold on, because I just want to say that because I said what does not mean that I've actually seen the movie before. You have to understand. There was a point in time when gay movies and TV shows were coming out, and Legionnaire was collecting them like breathing air.
That is not the truth.
All I'm going to say to you, Legionnaire, is the closet. And then I'm going to answer the question that yes, I did actually see this movie before.
No,
but I did not want anybody to anything.
I rebuke.
Okay, and I'm gonna make a comment because I was thinking to myself, I'm gonna ask Deadly if he's seen this movie, and Deadly is Deadly is going to say, "Oh, I was supposed to be in it." I wasn't spot on, but I was. I had some kind of telepathic link there because I said Deadly is gonna have a story. Watch.
You know, it's because I lived in Hollywood. So, you know, that's why you meet these people. And I dropped the ball in another movie too, Quinceañera. I could have been in that one. I dropped the ball on that one. Dropped the ball on this one.
You need a manager or a spanking. I don't know which.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I will do both.
Maybe he needs both.
You know.
I got some miles. I can get on the plane now.
They're so hungry. Oh my God.
Well, I've seen it before. Yeah, I have seen it before. But yeah, I realized I didn't retain a lot. I don't know. Maybe I was kind of halfway watching it or watching it and doing other things or something. But I didn't. There were parts of it. I was just like, I just don't remember that, but I had seen it before. Okay, so let's dive on in. This movie, in a way, is kind of based on cliches. So, not kind of, it is. So, some cliches I can't be mad at. Others I can. I'm going to start off right in the beginning of the show. I hated that Asian character. I'm sorry. She was horrible.
I second that. That's kind of racist.
It was
Tiki.
It could have been like, I know what they were trying to do. Like, remember the two Asian students in Mean Girls?
Yeah.
The two girls, and they kind of found a way to kind of make that kind of funny. But this girl, it was just awful. I cringed every time she opened her mouth. I was just like, okay, you already know that this type of movie is not going to have a lot of minorities in it anyway.
Right.
So one of two of them was just cringeworthy. I was just like,
Three.
Who was the third one?
Matthew Rush.
I don't.
Oh, you're not counting them. Wait, Matthew Rush was in L.A. Zombie too, right?
Yes, he was.
Okay, man.
He was. He's. You know that said that with a question like you weren't in the movie too. He was in L.A. Zombie. Oh, and so was I. Yeah. He had a black grandfather. He had a black grandfather, and I think he identifies as African American. But I'm talking about people when you watch the movie and don't know their backstory, that you look at them on the screen and you say, "Oh," because she's obviously playing an Asian American character, and Daryl is obviously playing an African American character. I don't think Matthew Rush's character was like racially specific. You know what I mean?
Well, character didn't have
which one was Matthew Rush?
He was the one. He was the one that had the. He OD'd.
Oh, okay.
Date with Nico. And Did you look at him and think, "Oh, he's African American"?
I did.
Okay.
And then I was like, why? I was about to get upset, and then the dancer came on, and I was like, okay. So the only black character is not, on drugs. So. Okay, I'm fine with that.
Props to the dancer though, Daryl Stevens. I thought he was good. First time I ever seen him in anything.
Yeah,
he was good. And this is the first time I saw him in something. Well, actually, I thought he was really good in Boyhood. I was shocked. I mean, that's actually a really good movie in my opinion. Yeah. And because I've seen him in other things, and I'm like, he plays a particular type of character. But back to this Asian character. I cringed every time she opened her mouth. I was like, girl, really? But it is what it is. As far as the other characters, did anyone else, the main characters, did anyone find anyone else sort of like enlightening, or you liked or hated?
Well, I thought the Dyke. We've all seen that Dyke before. Once dawn strikes, they all go Dyke. I mean, she played it like we've seen like every damn Dyke character, and I don't know. I thought she could have done more with it.
Yeah,
I thought that's how she was supposed to play it. I know that this had elements of American Pie and a couple of other more recent movies. But
she was like Stifler.
That it really reminded me of was Porky's, which ironically enough, they got a
that's
shot.
Funny you said that.
They got a shot of it in one of the scenes. But this was very a Porky-esque movie. So aside from the Asian girl, because this is 1996, I'm sorry, this is 2006. We really are better than that now. But as far as some of the other stuff goes, I felt that was in line with the atmosphere of what the Porky's movies were.
The Asian character, I thought if they were going to do that,
aside from the Asian character.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not supporting that bullshit.
Yeah, but into American Pie, another teen movie, What were some of the other references did you get? I mean, there was obviously like little references to like Mommy Dearest and stuff like that. But
Or
I mean,
Carrie. Obviously, Carrie.
yeah. So let's talk about the main cast. We had John. We had Michael Carbonaro, who is an openly gay actor. Jonah Blackman is Nico. Wow, his little headshot is like a lot different than his character. I guess that's why it's called acting.
He's also one of the, like, of all the 4 teenagers, he was not a teenager.
Oh God.
He was older than the rest of them.
Well,
So,
let's see.
that was nice.
Jonathan Chase, who played Jared, is 37 now. The main character, Michael.
27 then.
Yeah, so Michael Carbonaro is 34 now. So some of them were closer to teenage. Let's see. The guy that played Griffey, he's 37 now. He still looks young. Still looks really young. Of course, Scott Thompson. I don't know if any of you ever watched Kids in the Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Oh,
that's, I
yeah.
was thinking the whole time. I was like, that's the guy.
Yeah, he was always hilarious on that show, and I always thought Kids in the Hall was funnier than Saturday Night Live. Same producer.
I did too.
Oh, yeah.
They were based out of Canada, but I always thought it was funnier than Saturday Night Live. And of course, the Graham Norton from the Graham Norton Show as Mr. Puckoff.
The teacher.
Yeah. So, to me, varying degrees of acting ability. I mean, but you can say that about any movie. I mean, you can say that about you can say that about any. But somehow with these sort of movies, it's kind of glaring a little bit. Was there anyone who's acting you were like made you a little bit?
Matthew Rush.
Well,
I mean,
Matthew Rush again.
He's not. I mean, I'm talking about the main folks.
Oh,
I'm surprised. I actually liked the 4 guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought they all did a decent
I thought
job.
they had a good chemistry and they worked well together.
I really like Griff. I think Griff was my favorite of the 4.
I like Griff
I like him too.
I like Griff also. Yeah, I thought he was good. His performance was a little more nuanced. I thought Jared was a little bit, depending on who he was in a scene with. When he was with the main guys, I thought he was when he was with the baseball player guy. It's somehow what some actors can bring other actors up. If they're good, they'll make another actor kind of rise up. But his scenes with like, for example, when he was in the scene with the baseball player and they were about to be, intimate or whatever and stuff, I thought their scenes were a little bit stiff. But then when he was in the scenes with Griff, I thought he was better. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I think that was on purpose. Because I think the point was that when he was with the baseball player, and he was being made to be a top, and he was completely uncomfortable with that. And I think maybe that's what you were picking up, as opposed when he was with the other character, who he actually, they actually had feelings for each other. Because if you go back and look at their interactions, it's clear that there is some kind of bond between the two of them that neither one of them is talking about.
So do you think that Michael Carbonaro, who played Andy, was a good lead?
Yeah, again, as the guy as the foil against the guy in American Pie, who's kind of nerdy and, you know, such. And yeah.
I guess he was. It was just all that bottom humor with him was just, you know, I guess that's the point of the movie. It was supposed to be way over the top. But I mean, that was some way over the top shit.
Oh, you mean vegetables in the bed?
All them vegetables in the bed and the big butt plug and the gerbils and I'm like, God damn.
I was really kind of laughing and also just kind of like really, because the dad was like playing this like, oh, you're gonna be okay. I'm just gonna accept you. You're my gay son, whatever. And then I thought the joke was gonna be because, you know, you were adopted or something, because they were gonna, you know, like the mom was not a woman, and then it was just that he was bi. I was like, what? That was not the joke I thought we were getting here.
Well, I think they were taking a page out of movies. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen Die Mommy Die. We reviewed it last season.
I haven't seen that one.
And, you know, they have like a drag queen playing a real woman, and that's part of the joke of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's one of those movies.
Or Hairspray.
When you start off
Hairspray.
watching, when you start off watching that movie, you're like, okay, when are they going to let us in that this is not really, you know? But then you realize, oh, yeah. So I think that was what they were trying to go for with the mom in this movie. I thought they did it funny. She had some funny scenes.
She did. I just personally didn't understand why he did not either lock his door or put a chair on the door or something.
Thank you. Especially
Yeah.
when
He is always going to town.
It only takes one time for you to walk in on me.
It takes
But
zero
whenever he had
time
his
to
legs
lock the
up
door.
in the air. He had his legs up in the air, and the father walks up. Like, the mother walks in. It's like, oh my gosh! I mean, really? Yeah, I mean, his parents just kept strolling on into his room, and I mean, he was like 17, 18. You know, I can see if he was like 12, or you know, at a certain point, you gotta expect that your kids.
At a
you know,
certain
you have
point,
to,
you're not.
you know, especially at that age, where I mean, theoretically, he'd be going away to college. It's not like he's a little kid, you know.
Just getting to know his sphincter.
Yeah,
very much
I
so.
think I like that line where he said, "I've had more fun with my hand in my left pinky," or something like that. I was just like, "You got a really personal."
He was a pinky bottom. Pinky bottom.
Obviously, he was more than that when it really went down. He was like, he must have used that butt plug.
Well, he got double penetrated.
He got double penetrated. Yes.
Really easily.
I mean, he was what they call a power bottom.
Real man take it up the ass.
You know, when so this whole thing about him not having hands. Okay, I'm not saying that it wasn't realistic that young guys who as attractive as they wouldn't have had full something, but they would have, I don't know. I mean, they obviously weren't really closeted with most people around them, I guess, other than their families. I would think that they would have had more sexual adventures by that point. You know.
But they were still children, Maurice.
But they were 18.
Well, 17,
17.
18. Yeah. 17, 18.
17.
Okay.
I would hope my son is not having lots of sex yet. So
But
I'm gonna.
At 17?
But here's the thing.
Girl?
You know, how are they going out? How are they, you know, they're going out and getting into clubs and bars and stuff. So,
He had a fake ID. Remember he showed Grandpa the fake ID?
Yeah, but if they have fake IDs, they most likely are getting into other things.
Well, how often does your date ask you to show them your ID?
Right.
Though, to be fair, I have done that a couple times.
Yeah.
I did
Oh, no,
like
I
the
wouldn't
nudity
want-
though.
What's that?
I did like all the nudity, nice butts,
Yes.
the mix of real penis with fake penis. I thought it was good. Even the fake penis that Graham Norton had, that shit looked real, even though it was super big, but it looked kind of real.
Yeah, it did look. It looked real.
That was hilarious.
You know.
That
And
was
And then there
so
was the
funny.
Richard Hatch nudity.
Oh yeah, some
Yes, we got full front on Richard Hatch.
here. That's here for the Bears.
The bear.
guy.
Which is
I mean, that's why I brought it up.
which is cool because you know
I think that's the only episode of Survivor. That's the only season of Survivor I've ever watched all the way through.
Oh, you and me both. I've not seen it since season 1.
Mm.
But it's funny, you know, like 'cause in this movie they didn't sort of slam the I don't want to call subcultures in the gay community. You know, it wasn't like, oh, they weren't making fun of the Bears and they weren't making fun of the femme guys or the Bears or anyone that's not a, you know, six-pack jock. I like that they had the jock character as one of the sort of downtrodden, unsure themselves characters. Because if they make another gay movie with some theater kid in love with the football player, you know, pining after the football player and this, that, and other, I'm like, I don't even watch those movies anymore. This is like,
What you got to give football players?
I don't like the premise that it's always look, I've had football players chase after me and I'm an orchestra geek, okay? So it's not that's what I don't like. It's a generic story that you see in a lot of in a lot of gay movies. It's like, oh, you know, you got the jock and then you have the little geeky kid, you know, chasing after the jock or pining away for the jock.
I think you just did that in in movies of this genre. I mean, yes, they do that in the gay movies, but I think they do a lot of that in the straight movies too.
But what I'm saying is, I like that in this movie they switched it up and they had the jock as one of the, you know, like he didn't have everything laid out for him. You know, everything didn't come easy for him either. So I like that they kind of played with that. I'm not sure that set of friends would have really been that good of friends because high school was very cliquey and very, you know, I just imagine maybe they've known each other since elementary school or whatever. But
they were all gay and they were all virgins. So.
Yeah, but they were all gay. But you know, but even in that realm, you know, gay people tend to segregate themselves by type.
In high school, I didn't hang out with the virgins.
You know. I mean, don't you agree that gay men tend to segregate themselves by type a lot of the time?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, even at that age, you know, as soon as you become aware, it seems like as soon as people become aware of, you know, which path they're going to go down in their gay career, you know, they kind of start to separate. But I mean, yeah, for the purpose of the movie, yeah, it worked.
It's interesting because all the kids that came out that I went to high school with, like none of us hung out together.
Why do you
Because
think
you guys didn't want to be noticed? Is that why? You figure like
I think that everybody was so busy hiding themselves that we weren't necessarily looking for the others. So
you
yes.
check this out. My best buddy in high school, every lunch, I'd eat lunch with him, and we talked about Knots Landing and Dynasty and everything. But that should, again, looking back, we should have known we were little gay boys, but we didn't know until I knew. He came out to California to visit me when I was like 21. And then I said, I'm going to a gay bar before I'm gay. I had to let you know. The dude is staying with me for like 3 months, and then he don't want to tell me that he's gay too. And finally, like 3 months after he's still with me, he's like, "Oh, can I go to that gay bar with you?" I'm like, "Dude, it took you 3 months."
Wow.
When I told you I was gay, and it's like we talked about Knots Landing in high school. Come on, dog. The fuck?
That's messed up.
Yeah.
So he clearly had to come to grips with it himself.
Yeah, he sure did. I took him out that night, and boy, he was making out, almost sucking dick on the dance floor. Shit.
That is a heartwarming story.
Well, he had not come to grips with his sexuality. Clearly, others came to grips with his sexuality.
No, but I mean, but if sometimes, even though, but he had a certain type of relationship with you as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was still had some fear, that would change. That
right.
That you would think differently of him. So. But I'm glad that he finally got his life after 3 months. So, let's talk about this teacher. Has anyone ever had a teacher that they had a serious crush on?
Oh, God, yes.
Speak on that. I want to hear that.
Yeah.
I had this teacher in high school. His name was Mr. King. He was the head of the radio TV department. And in his part-time gig, he was a radio DJ for a jazz station. And he was just cool. I mean, he was just cool. And that really, it was a combination of attraction. It was a physical attraction, and then there was a spiritual attraction where I just wanted him to be in my life. Like, I had this fantasy that my mother would come up to the school one day and they would meet and start dating, and then, if I couldn't have him, at least she could, and then he would be in my life. And that came to an end sometime my senior year when he told me that he was not going to allow a faggot to be captain of his stage crew.
He said that to you?
Yes, he did. And so that year, stage crew just didn't have a captain because everybody still treated it was like doing the work, having the job without having the title. Yeah.
Wow.
So that kind of broke me.
Wow. That's beyond harsh, and adults sometimes can sense when teenagers have crush. I remember how I was teaching violin at a school for school program, and one of my little students, I mean, these are teenagers. When they have a break, they go run into the corner store. They don't stick around in the classroom, Yeah. But he would always, stay. He'd come up, I'd be filling out little paperwork or whatever. And he'd be like, "Oh, I like your handwriting. You have really nice handwriting." I'd be like, thank you. But, don't you want to go with the other kids? And it's more awkward when it's a teenager, okay? Mm-hmm. And so, he would just hover around constantly. And so after a point, you got to be careful what you say, because if you make them uncomfortable, even if you're being truthful, they can flip it on you. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, and I've been warned by another teacher that I knew, and I was 24 at the time, so
you were a baby yourself.
Right, some of them were right, Oh, I had one little 17-year-old told me that her boyfriend was older than I was.
Ooh.
You know, and I was just like, well, first of all, how do you know?
Hot
Yeah, you know, and I had been warned about the girls.
Yeah.
It's
Nobody
not
ever thinks to talk about the boys.
But no one warned me about the because you know. So it was a little awkward, but you know you have to be gentle with teenagers because they can go from being puppy love to just like because their hormones are just like out of control, you know. So I would just like when they had their little break. Sometimes I would just have to leave the room. Like I'd be like, "Well, I'm going to go down to the office," and I didn't stay. I didn't feel that I should say something to him like that. Like even if I was like gentle about it, like Johnny, you're going through a lot right now, and your body's changing. Because that shit can flip. When that can flip, when you embarrass a teenager, that stuff will flip on you real fast. So
yeah.
I was just like, I'm gonna go down to the teacher's lounge, and but it was fun.
I think it's best I just remove myself from the situation.
Remove myself. It was very interesting. But for an adult to say something to you like that, oh my God! So that is just like
that dude from the Airplane movie talking to that little boy. He'd always talk some nasty shit.
Oh, do you like Gladiator? Do you like Gladiator movies? So I was gonna bring that up because they tried it in this movie more than once. They tried little pedophile jokes, and to me, they fell flat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I didn't like the Nambla shit. The Nambla shit could have.
Yeah, that was not cool.
I didn't get that.
Do you know what Nambla is?
No, I don't.
Okay. It is a organization of older men who look basically like young boys. And there's this whole entire group all across the country where they've tried to at certain points get the dating age lowered, and it's creepy white man trying to sleep with little boys. I was trying to be as politically correct as possible, but at the end of the day,
on this show, trying to be politically correct, but no, it was very. There's like fiction, like there's stuff in the gay world that kind of borderlines on. I don't know if you remember the magazine called Daddy Boy Adventures.
But you know what? It's not even the daddy boy thing, because that's kind of, I see these youngsters into daddies. It's the Nambla goes a whole another.
But that's different. But I'm agreeing with you. That's different than what they were portraying.
Mm-hmm.
You can have young, 20-somethings who are in the 40, 50, 60, 70-year-olds, but this is very, sort of predatory on underage like children. And I thought if they were gonna try to make that joke, just like with the Asian thing, if you're gonna make those jokes, then there has to be foolproof, and it has to be funny. I don't know how you make it funny, but it fell flat for me. I was just like, they could have left that out.
Yeah.
So Vanetta, when they tell, and I can't remember the character's name, the nerdy character, when they tell him when he says he's 17, and they tell him, oh, he's past his prime.
Yeah.
They really mean that.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like 8 years too late for them to be fucking with him.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to know, did your kids come by your computer when you were watching this? I hope you had the sound down, girl. You always say your kids trying to see what mom's watching.
Yeah. There was. I watched it when she was asleep.
Oh, okay, good.
She was asleep. She turns 13 on Thursday, so she thinks she's grown now.
Right.
That's the rough age.
Oof. I'm so excited.
So Let's talk a little.
Sean told me some things, and I'm just like, oh, great, fun, happy stuff. So
Let's talk a little bit about the supporting cast. So we had Daryl Stevens as Angel. I didn't get that he was supposed to be Latino until like later.
No, see, that could have been my role. What the hell?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was curious why they cast him as Latino. Not that he couldn't be Latino, but I didn't think that. I know he says, but a lot of people say Poppy a lot. Everyone, has kind of appropriated that. But I didn't really pick up that he was
Poppy
supposed to be.
Chulo.
Well, Poppy Chulo is Poppy Chulo, though.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got it by birthright. So it's his legacy. But I didn't pick up until later until it sounded like he was trying to give you a slight accent or something. I was just like, oh well, okay. So
and I don't know LA, so Deadly, you can help. Maybe where he grew up was a mixed area.
Maybe, but even Poppy, they don't use it too much in LA. That's more of a Puerto Rican thing. LA got Mexicans, Salvadorans that aren't using Poppy that much.
Right.
There was a club called Que Pasa Poppy, though, but no. But then I think Daryl Stevens is from back east anyway, though.
No, he's from LA.
He's in LA.
He from LA?
Yeah, he's from LA.
Yeah. Altadena.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember when I used to watch, when I watched Noah's Ark, and I would say, like, I just don't get them. I just didn't get those characters. And then people would say, oh, that's because they're very LA. They're very LA. And then I would talk to people from LA, and they'd be like, no.
Don't put that shit on me.
Right, don't put that on me. I just, the way they act and sometimes the way they dress and some of the things they said, they were like, I was like, I wasn't getting it. And people would say, oh, that's because they're very West Coast, they're very LA. I'm like, okay. So we had Daryl Stevens, Graham Norton, of course, Scott Thompson as the dad, Ashley Atkinson as Muffler.
Scott Thompson, I did a short with him called The Immigrant, and that dude is just fucking funny, just even like in real life, man. That dude is good. I thought he did a pretty decent job.
He's hilarious. I hope whenever Deadly says he's in something, we need to appoint somebody to be the Poppy Chulo secretary. Whenever Deadly says he was in something, was supposed to be in something, we need to write it down so we can find it.
It was just a quick scene. It was a little short called The Immigrant, and I had a scene with Scott Thompson, but he was funny. I think that I don't know if I slapped him, I hit him, I pushed him. I did something to him, but he was down. He was down as an actor. He in it. He was funny.
Oh, funny. So we talked about Ashley Atkinson's character, Muffler. And you were saying, Dilly, that we've seen this, well, you used the word dyke. We've seen this dyke before.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of felt like, too, was she over the top? I mean, I like that she was boisterous and whatever. She was supposed to be this boisterous character. But do you think, like, the director should have been like, okay, let's take it down one notch. Just a notch.
Yeah. Bring it down, baby.
I mean, she was supposed to be a Stifler character. I mean, Stifler was really over the top. So
yeah,
that's how I read it.
I think that's just who she was supposed to be.
Okay. I could have used a little less.
But I think the whole deal too, like making her like the more macho even guys, is kind of played out a little bit. It's just that was my only problem with that whole thing. Like, I mean, there should have been a homo thug in there, because as hard as you want to be dyke, there's still a homo thug that'll check your ass.
Maybe that's the role they wanted you to play before you drop the ball.
Thank you.
But isn't that right? don't blame, you ain't got nobody to blame yourself, Deadly. But do you think is that kind of the character that they wanted Angel to play? I think they would. I don't know. I couldn't decide whether they were making Angel supposed to be hood or whether he was supposed to be sort of.
See, you said they got Angel they got Daryl Stevens to be this African American. I think they just hired him, and they hired him for that part. That part didn't necessarily call for somebody to be black.
Well, thank God they didn't get. I'm glad they didn't get Wilson Cruz, that little bitch. But better be Daryl Stevens. I've worked with Wilson Cruz before too, and he a little bitch. Let me tell you that. Was about to smack his ass between scenes. That little bitch.
Why would you go and beat up Janito?
Cause he a dick. That's why.
What did he do?
He's just a dick. Trust. I mean, I've worked on like 2 different projects with him. Every time he a dick.
Do you think it's because he's had do you think it's because he's had a modicum of sort of like mainstream success?
It could be. He might be like, "Oh, who were you?" I'm like, "Bitch, just like you. I'm working on this movie too, bitch. What the fuck?" He
may have been threatened though, because you do kind of give baby daddyisms. He might have just been threatened by you.
I don't know. I think it's an East Coast thing too. Now he is Puerto Rican. And I remember one time on Twitter, I said, "Oh, happy Cinco de Mayo." And he's going to be like, "I don't celebrate that. I'm Puerto Rican." I'm like, "Well, bitch, the fuck? I still can't say happy Cinco de Mayo. What the fuck?"
Right.
Then I blocked his ass and deleted his ass on Twitter, too. I'm like, well, fuck you then. Shit.
That's so unnecessary.
But anyway, I'm thinking you're right. It could have been just written like that way, and they just hired Daryl Stevens.
Yeah.
But I liked him being a little more, butched up than like Noah's Ark or The Skinny or other stuff I've seen him in.
I tried to watch The Skinny, and that was the one where it was kind of like he was playing. No, I'm getting that mixed up with Boyhood. Was he a lawyer? Did he play a lawyer or something? Or
I forgot. But
I kind of tried to watch it, and then I was like, I've seen this before. It's hard to make. It's hard to make gay material. Well, let me not say that.
Yeah, I was going to stop you.
In The Skinny, he played a nurse.
A lot of what they make is very formulaic with these type of movies, but with a lot of gay content too, like what you see on Netflix and stuff. Like once in a while, you'll come across something like Pariah, which is a great movie about a young black girl, something like that. That's fresh and not the typical. We're all forlorn because we're gay and no one wants us and our 6-packs are going to waste because we can't find love. It's like, everyone kind of looks like the same person with different hair color, So, it's, I don't watch a lot of the fare that's out there because it's just not, it's not original.
Yeah, see, I usually don't like an American-made gay movie, not that often, because they just take it like way over the top. That character's over the top, but this was meant to be, so I could kind of like, all right, it's all right, because that's what they were setting out to do. But most of the time, I like a good foreign movie that has some, LGBTQ themes or whatever the hell.
Yeah, there's some really good ones. There's some really, really good ones, but the American ones tend to all be sort of like,
formulaic.
Yeah, and everyone kind of looks the same. They aren't very diverse usually, and that's just the way it is. It's just an image that's but that's not unique to the gay community. But I find it sometimes even more intensified in the gay genre.
There's been like other parts of this movie I have not seen them, but I'm just because there's a lot other stuff they could like make jokes on. But I just feel like maybe even now might be an even better time to come out with, another one of these movies, just because there's a lot of gay stuff now that they could crack on.
Right. They made a sequel. I don't think it stars the same people though.
It does.
It does?
The sequel doesn't have the same people in it.
Oh, it doesn't?
No,
No.
the only person that moved over to the sequel was the character of Nico.
Oh,
The rest of them are all played by different actors.
Huh. So we were talking about the supporting cast. Was there anyone that was a standout for you?
I just like Graham Norton. I think I didn't expect
I
that
love
from him.
it. Yeah.
I thought he did a
Graham
good job.
Norton. Well, I thought I liked the dad. Of course, I liked the dad and Graham Norton. I thought the mom was good too. Stephanie McVeigh played Nico's mom.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that
thought she
mother.
was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
They poked fun at Queer Soul a lot with her.
Mm.
Now, John Epperson, Andy's mom, played Lip Syncer. Was Lip Syncer?
Lip Syncer.
Yeah. Was Lip Syncer ever on RuPaul's Drag Race?
No.
I don't think so. But
No,
she's good.
Lip
She's
Sync-
well known.
Yeah, Lip Sync is an old school drag queen. Most of the contestants on Drag Race are still trying to get there. Like they're big locally.
But they're not. No.
But Lip Sync, she's known across the country.
Okay. And Ant, did anybody know who Ant is?
Yeah, he was the 911, one of those guys.
Yeah, he was
Wasn't he
one
a
of the
comedian? Wasn't he a comedian?
Oh,
or
yeah.
something?
Yeah.
he was one of the paramedics. So there were some people. There were some sort of cameos of people who, knew they were, and of course Matthew Rush. I believe it or not, I thought his scene was actually kind of funny.
His scene was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought his scene was pretty funny.
Can't act.
Yeah.
And watching him have sex is like watching paint dry. But that's besides the point.
Well,
I bought my first introduction to Matthew Rush. At the store bought a movie with him in it because he was on. Because I was like, oh my God, he's hot, and I got that movie in the mail and watched it, and it was like watching paint dry. It was painful.
Funny. Well, I have to say, we did another movie recently starring our very own Jet Li, and the one scene in the movie that was the most sort of straightforward porn scene was my least favorite. I don't like that kind of porn. So, but that's what he does, and the people who like that kind of porn love him. So. He's a. I don't know if he's still a bigger name as he was like maybe 8 years ago, but
he locked up now. But
so
I do have a quick. I have a quick story. That this movie reminded me of this, and I wanted to share it. And Legionnaire knows the story.
Oh.
It wasn't him. No. So the scene where Nico gets Richard Hatch home and decides to prepare himself, to ready himself, by taking one enema 2 minutes. So Legionnaire and I have a dear friend that passed away a few years ago, and at a convention. At a leather convention one year, our friend, his name was Rufus, was going to hook up with someone, and he decided to go prepare himself for his hookup, and he prepared himself a little too well. Left the room about o'clock, came back about 6:15, wasn't able to find the guy. This was on a Saturday, and laid down and didn't get up again until Monday when it was time to leave because he had douched himself into a small coma.
What?
Coma. Wait.
Not medically, of course, but he had douched himself to the point where he had exhausted himself.
That is
For 2
hilarious.
days?
He just like didn't leave the room again. He would get up, go to the bathroom, get back in the bed, and go right back to sleep.
Mm.
Because he didn't have any more nutrients. They were gone. Poor
They were
baby.
shot. The nutrients were gone.
He was
And the funniest line was from one of our other club brothers, who a minute after Rufus had grabbed all his accoutrements and gone in the bathroom to prepare himself, looked at us and said, "Did he just grab a hot water bottle and a hose?"
Yes. Talk about summer's eve, y'all.
I love a clean bottom. I love those boys that take care of that.
I do too, but you should not wear yourself out.
One fleet would have been enough.
Right.
His little skinny butt.
Well, unless you are eating like Taco Bell and chasing it down with a damn box of fig Newtons or something.
But a good bottom will not eat all day if he knows he's gonna handle it at night.
All right. y'all listen to what Dylan said. Take notes. All right. So, was there anything in the plot that anyone just felt like? I mean, for me, I couldn't really criticize the plot because the plot was meant to be formulated, and they didn't make any. They didn't make any, attempt at saying that this was not derivative of every other teen movie you saw.
I think the Mommy Dearest stuff could have gone further. I mean, all gay people love the Mommy Dearest classic shit. I mean, they could have gone further with that, don't you think, Legionnaire?
Yeah, I think it could have gone a little bit further. It was just, this movie was a tough one for me to watch. I only in that I don't really care for those kind of over the top, beat you over the head with the cliche type movies. And this was a painful movie for me to watch. That I will say. But there were nuggets of it that I found amusing. Like the whole thing with the parents catching Andy in the room. I'm like, well, girl, don't you have a lock on your door? I mean, because you would, like Derek said, you would only have to catch me once. and so that was kind of interesting. And I liked I thought the references were cute.
There were some good references. I kind of few. I liked one he dissed Kelly Ripa.
Yeah,
there was even a Karen Black reference.
Oh, that was funny.
I like those old airport movies.
And I was going to bring something else up. I don't know if anybody remembers the Bravo reality series Boy Meets Boy.
No.
They made an attempt to do a Bachelor style with the guy that was going to pick a boyfriend out of 15 guys, but the twist was that I think 5 or 6 of them were straight. So that in the end, if he picked the straight guy, then he would it would be all over. But if he actually picked the gay guy, they won some money and a fabulous vacation or some shit like that. And the guy who was actually the Bachelor trying to pick the men was the guy who played Bo, the baseball player.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. So, I was going to move into the awards. Does anyone else want to bring up anything plot-wise that you thought was particularly interesting?
I just don't understand how you could ruin a perfectly good quiche like that.
Oh, I love quiche too.
And I think the scene with the teacher was kind of the most just like
Oh, Belgian chocolate.
Yes.
oh Lord. I mean, but even before that, I mean, how can you still consider yourself a virgin after that? I mean, you know,
He
It-
was
it
holding
just-
on to his virginity.
Well, I guess in the
really
sense
tightly.
that he had already pleasured himself with artificial things, but had not yet actually had the pleasure of a for real.
uh, but that scene was just like that was just so much. It was so much. Yeah.
Even Dad's penis through the glory hole was a little because that penis was all skinny or something. It was gross.
Oh, that
He was
was
supposed to prove that he had been using that pump
That extender.
that made the other boy's penis long and skinny.
Oh, is that it? Now I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
because that's why
That's-
the pump was in the bathroom.
Help me!
that was a sad. That was a sad.
Nah,
Oh,
you had to explain that joke to me, girl. Okay.
Ooh.
Mm.
All right, y'all. This movie, let's see if it has won any awards. It was nominated for a Golden Trailer Award.
I don't know.
Now,
what that-
Golden Trailer nominee for Trashiest. But that's an accomplishment.
That makes more sense.
LA Outfest Grand Jury Award winner, Outstanding Actor in a Feature Film, Michael Carbonaro. I thought he was good. I thought as the lead, he was decent. You know.
He's no Griff, but he was all right.
No. Grand Jury Award winner, 2006 Best Actor in a Feature Film for Michael Carbonaro again. But as I always say, the most important awards are the awards that we give out. The Papi Chulo Summer Camp Awards. Okay, so I'm going to get right to it. The best use of nudity.
The teacher.
Mm,
Mine is the guy in the shower that they were watching. Remember they said they hooked up the camera in the shower?
Oh,
That-
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
That was
I
supposed to be a
get
straight boy, and he wasn't.
mhm. I'd have to give it like when the boys finally fell for each other, let it be known they like each other. And that first fucking scene where he had his legs up and he was on his back, and that's my favorite position. But anyway, it's TMI. But that right there, that shit was hot. Oh.
None of this is TMI. Legionnaire
It's
and
just
our,
between us.
yes. and our legion of fans that download this show. What was the Anchors Away the Best Use of Semen Award?
Use of semen.
Oh, his
Showering with semen. That was a funny little.
his kiss.
Yeah.
Oh,
His dream carry moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
what about when he had the wet dream?
Oh, that was kind of hot. That nut came out of his underwear.
Yeah.
That was
I
good.
thought that was a more subtle use of semen, but we want to give it to the bucket of semen, the carry, the carry sequence.
Yes.
The cum whore.
Come
They're all
on,
gonna laugh at you.
that was funny. Oh gosh. Okay, what was the Oh, here's a good one. The most non-politically correct moment.
The Asian girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll let the
It's a
chick
combination. It's a toss up between the Asian girl and the Nablas.
in the
Oh,
pedophiles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know this is gonna sound terrible, but I will still give it to the Asian girl. It was just like, because everybody's not gonna get the other one. How about the barf bag moment?
Oh,
I didn't like
clearly-
that vomit on the ass moment.
Ooh, I forgot about that. Ooh, that was, ugh.
That's worse than the Belgian chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was worse than the Belgian chocolate.
Yeah, it was, because at least the shit was on the table. You know.
I like
But
how
also-
he retold the story like it was the guy that had did it on him.
Right.
Yeah.
We were just getting into it and he barfed all over my bag.
Right.
A damn lie.
Who was the Queen of Shade?
Queen of Shade. What?
Muffler.
Yeah, probably Muffler the Dyke.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Yeah.
The most important rating of the evening. On a scale from 1 to 10 marshmallows, we are going to rate this, and we are going to start with Derek Anthony.
This one, again, I had seen it before. It was amusing. It lost a couple points only because of the Namblers and the Asians. So I'm going to give it 8 marshmallows.
Ooh,
That's high.
that is high. Okay.
All right, okay.
It had a good beat and I could dance to it.
Okay. We are going to go to Vanetta.
I enjoyed this movie. I actually laughed out loud several times. It's the proper amount of camp for me. So I'm giving it 8 marshmallows too.
All right. All right, we're going to move over to Mr. Dead Lee.
So I usually don't like American gay movies, but this one was kind of meant to be stupid, over the top, funny. So I'll probably give it a 6. But wait, you know what? There was some Paul Lynde references. I like Paul Lynde, The Center Square, so maybe I'll give it a 7. Maybe a 7 just for the Paul Lynde. But then I wasn't in it, so maybe I'll drop it back down to like a 6.5.
You weren't in it. You should drop it down to the. You should drop it down to the burn stick. So your final is.
I'll settle on a 6.
Okay. And Legionnaire.
I'll give it 2 marshmallows for the Paul Lynde references.
Oh, see, you like him too.
Yes.
He did a good job.
Who doesn't like Paul Lynde?
Exactly.
Funny. Well, I mean, this movie, for me, it did have a certain amount of quality. I liked the graphics in the beginning with the sort of the animation and stuff. It didn't look really cheap like a lot of these gay movies do. Some of the acting was a little painful for me. The stuff that wasn't politically correct, I don't mind stuff that's not politically correct, but make it funny. You know, it has to be funny, like spot on funny. If you're gonna do that, so for me, I would give this movie maybe a 5.5. 5.5.
There you go.
So, and there we have it. All right, y'all, it's time for everyone to report back to their cabins. Your bunk beds are waiting for you. Join us next time for a brand new installment of Summer Camp. Once again, here's one of our campers on our PA system with a few announcements on how you can interact with us via social media.
Thank you for the intro. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Poppy Chula Radio Summer Camp and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/PCR Summer Camp. Follow us on Tumblr, summercamp-pcr.tumblr.com. Follow Poppy Chula Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube at Poppy Chula Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@poppychularadio.com. Help support Poppy Chula Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PoppyChulaRadio. Help support Poppy Chula Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PoppyChulaRadio. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Now, back to you, camp counselors.
Thank you. My fellow camp counselors, please wish our campers and the listeners a good night.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, campers.
31 flavors of genital cheese.
Stay away from my quiches.
All right, y'all. Try not to think about Muffler's tongue. We have nightmares. Thanks for tuning in. Good night and lights out.